Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. It is Health Tuesdays here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And we have a very special guest for you this morning after the success of her first book, Whole Bowl Food for Balance. Melissa Delport joins us in studio to chat about her newest cookbook, Heal, Begin with Food. And we could all do with a bit of healing throughout this space. And Melissa, it has been such an amazing journey because I followed you from the very beginning to see your connection with food and how you've been able to teach people about their relationship with this. It's a personal journey for you, and I remember reading in your book, your mess has become your message. Yes. Take us through that.
So, going back to sort of the beginning, the first time I was put onto a fad diet, I was 11 years old. My parents did the best that they knew with the information that they had. In the beginning, a chubby baby was a happy baby, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, there's a weight problem. So I got put onto a fad diet, and that sort of set me up for the next 15 years of my life of fearing food and trying to control food because the goal was to be thin. The whole time that was the goal, be thin, and if you're thin, you're celebrated, you're better, whatever the association was. And it rolled me in and out of toxic diet culture. I could name a list as long as my arm of all the diets that I did. And then one day I just had this penny drop where I was like, wait a minute, thin and healthy aren't the same thing. And if I focus on getting healthy, what would be possible? So I did, and I went down this rabbit hole of just seeking all the information I could find and tuning into whole food eating, and that's how Whole Bowl Food for Balance, my first book, was born. Subsequently, with focusing on getting healthy, I lost 25 kilograms.
Oh,
and
wow.
I also had a hormonal disease called polycystic ovarian syndrome, and 1 of 8 women of childbearing age have this disease, and I was on a vast array of medications for it, and every time a symptom popped up, the doctor gave me a tablet, and it was just such a mess. And then exactly that, my mess became my message. When I turned to whole foods, I saw that food is actually the medicine. And I lost the weight, kept the weight off, put all my symptoms into remission. I'm on no medication, and I just had to write about it. So that was whole. But then all of a sudden, you lose the weight, because the weight was part of the journey for me. But then I realized, hang on, I've lost the weight, but there's still this underlying unhappiness. What is that about? And that's really how Heal, Begin with Food was born, because I started to see that it's not just the food. Yes, the food is the medicine, but it's also about this emotional body that's driving our food decisions. Why am I unhappy if I'm not a certain shape? And looking at that and really looking at my life and what I call now as a health coach, your primary food, your career, your spirituality, your exercise, your relationships, how are those nourishing you? And then your secondary food becomes secondary, that which you put in your mouth. And it's a lot easier to keep it in balance. We all know what emotional eating is about.
So true. Well, Melissa, I think what you're speaking about is something that is so pertinent when it comes to this overwhelming world of dieting. And just to kind of kick it off the script, I love what you're saying, that thin doesn't mean healthy.
Yeah.
No.
I personally went through this whole fad of trying to look good for a magazine cover, looking shredded and ripped. I wasn't healthy. I was dehydrated. I was starved. But you look healthy, and that perception, I think, is what you are changing right now. And I think that's what the first book did. It really kind of broke that mold and changed that relationship that you're speaking about. But what was then the reason for you deciding, I need to go through with the second edition? You mentioned it was quite a tough challenge, obviously, and I love what you're speaking about. So what prompted you to then decide to go ahead and write the second edition?
I think, honestly, it's my mess is my message. If I can stop one person from being in that dark, twisted space, because I was there, I was anxious about food. I didn't know what to eat, where to turn. Do you eat the carb? Do you eat the high fat? Do you eat the meat? Do you not eat the meat? Then you're vegan. Then everybody was telling me what to do, to the point that it almost crippled me with anxiety. And then as I moved into this journey, I have to be able to share that message with other people, that you don't have to fear the food. You don't need to be in fear of your body. Your body is this incredible machine that it never skips a heartbeat without you getting involved. You cut yourself, it heals, without you even getting involved. So for me, it just became this, it's my drive, it's my purpose. I have to share this with the world, that there's another way of being, that you can honor your body and love your food and actually find that peace which is really important.
I'm smiling from ear to ear just to hear your passion about this, but also the relationship you formed with food, but now using your platform to really inspire and educate other people to have that connection with food. Because yes, you can go through diets, you can go through everything, but you have to heal from within. And of course, you at home, Melissa Delport, will be hanging out with us the entire morning. She's going to be teaching us about living consciously with all of this. But if you would like to win one of 2 Heal Begin With Food by Melissa Delport cookbooks, you can head on over to our Facebook page and comment on the competition post right now and tell us what your healthy go-to meal is. The T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com, and the competition closes at midnight tonight. Happy entering. Right now, we are down to the final hour of the show. Here is G with his news headlines.